Now, if you're an income investor, you've probably seen MSTY ETF pop up everywhere. But what is it really? Is it a hidden gem or is it another overhyped fund? In this video, we're going to go over MSTY MSTY ETF, what exactly it is, and why it's so popular. So first of all, MSTY is an ETF, which is an exchange traded fund. But this is very different compared to other ETFs, which just simply invest in stocks. This one actually employs an option strategy known as the poor man's covered call. So, what this ETF does is it buys MSTR, the MicroStrategy call options, and then it sells short dated call options, which brings in monthly premium. And this fund is paid out every single month. And it does have a very high distribution rate. As we can see right now, it's just about 68%. And if we took a look at the dividend history, it's paid over $1 per share every single month. Considering the share price is at a price point of $25 per share, $1 per share every single month is a huge dividend, and that's why this fund is so popular. Now, yieldmax does have a ton of ETFs as of recently. They've been launching lots of new ETFs left and right, but MSTY has continued to be the most popular, and it has been the most reliable for income investors. Now, if we do take a look at the chart, it did have an inception price of around $20 per share, and it's been very volatile. It's actually seen highs of $46 per share and as low as $16 per share as its all-time low. So it's a very volatile ETF, but a lot of people love this ETF for its distributions. As we mentioned earlier, it's paying over $1, at least $1 every single month, and it has done that for quite some time now. So a lot of people love this ETF when it's trading in this $20 to $30 range. They believe that it just bounces back and forth between $20 and $30. And that's really where this strategy comes into play, because even though the stock really is going to be trading flat, hopefully, you're going to be making that up with these distributions. So even though this is providing excellent returns, what is it for the fund managers? Well, they're going to be getting a 1% expense ratio. So this is taken out from the NAV every single year, just 1%. And considering it has seen amazing returns, this is totally reasonable. But for a lot of people who are not used to 1% expense ratios, this can seem very high, considering an ETF such as SCHD only has an expense ratio of about 0.06%, which is insanely low. Now let's talk about the performance a little bit. So if we're comparing it to the S&P 500 index SPY, we can actually see year to date for 2025, the S&P 500 is down 4.47% compared to MSTY, which is actually up 22.70%. And this is with dividends reinvested, because as I mentioned earlier, the stock price has been relatively quote unquote flat, but those distributions that you're receiving every single month contributes to its high total return. And since inception for MSTY, it's seen a total return of 261%, and that is an amazing return considering this fund was only released in March of 2024. So just over a year, and you've seen a 261% return if you got in at inception, because all of those distributions are compounding if you're reinvesting it. And during that time, the S&P 500 is only up 8%. Now, if we're comparing these two ETFs, the S&P 500 and MSTY, this is a significant difference. And this is why MSTY is so popular. It's been having a insane total return over this time period. Now, only time can tell because this is a relatively new ETF. It's only been out for a little over a year now. So a lot of people still a little bit skeptical, and there's a lot of risk associated with an ETF such as MSTY. Now, the first one is going to be volatility. This ETF is very volatile, as we saw with the stock chart. It does trade up a lot and then go down a lot, but this all contributes to its high dividend because of its option strategy. By selling option premiums, the higher their volatility, the more premium you're going to be collecting. And that's going to contribute to these distributions that are paid out every single month. And then secondly, you're going to be having a lot of Bitcoin exposure because remember, this ETF MSTY holds long dated call options on MicroStrategy, which is basically a stock that heavily invests in Bitcoin. So you're getting a ton of crypto exposure. If you do not believe in crypto or MicroStrategy as a company, you might want to avoid this ETF because this is really going to give you a ton of crypto exposure. But who is this ETF for? Well, it's for people who are looking for high monthly income. As we mentioned earlier, of course, we have the high distribution rate, 68%, which is pretty insane. A lot of people who are looking to supplement their short-term income, we're not too sure how this is going to perform long-term, but so far it's been excellent. And I've been holding a few hundred shares in my own portfolio, and it's seen an insane return over the few months that I've owned it. Now, we do have to note about taxes. If you're holding it in a Roth IRA, this is the best case scenario because all of these distributions are pretty much treated as ordinary income. So you're paying a high income tax if it's not in a Roth IRA. But because this is an income focused ETF, tons of people are going to be paying taxes and are holding it in their taxable brokerage accounts versus an IRA because they want to use this income just to supplement their 9-to-5 job to help pay bills or even just to help splurge a little bit on some vacations or some luxuries or some entertainment. But this ETF has seen insane returns and you can't go wrong with MSTY, and it's very popular for a solid reason.